Good day, good day, good day, guys, and I am back reviewing another figure the gorgeous Jen Mitchell sent me for my birthday. Today, I am looking at Hasbro's Marvel Studios X-Men'97 Goblin Queen. This is essentially the evil clone of Jean Grey that was featured in X-Men'97. She was created by Mr. Sinister in order to birth an offspring between her and Cyclops that would later grow up in the future to become Cable. So yeah, it was probably this character's introduction in episode 3, Fire Made Flesh, that I realised that this series wasn't just for kids. The episode itself kicked arse. I mean, the scene where the mansion started mutating in these kind of Junjo Ito J-horror creatures and everyone was tripping balls and seeing their deepest, darkest fears. That was kick-ass. And then you had Jean Grey revealed to be a manifestation or creation of Mr. Sinister, and it was essentially her transformation into the Goblin Queen, into Madeline Pryor, and she almost gave Wanda Maximoff a run for her money with her powers. Yeah, whatever about people complaining that Rogue had lost her sex appeal by them shrinking her butt, Madeline Pryor made up for that. She oozed sex appeal. She was the quintessential femme fatale. I mean, she even pulled a Basic Instinct by crossing her legs while giving a villainous speech to our heroes. Speaking of, when she took on Morph, Magneto and Bishop, she absolutely kicked their arse. And again, you just got to see how powerful she was. But I digress. Enough about the show. Let's have a look at the figure. First off, the packaging is really cool. You have Marvel Studios X-Men'97. You have all the characters there. You have Madeline herself. Interesting thing to note, for some reason with the figure and the packaging, they've covered up her thighs. Her thighs were actually not covered. She basically had thigh-high boots and her calves and stuff were exposed. But I suppose Marvel want to try and keep it a bit more PG, which I think is fucking silly, but I digress. Still really cool packaging. Nice throwback to the old X-Men figures you could get back in the day. Just flipping it to the back here. And yeah, Marvel Legends. And it shows the other figures in the line. You have Magneto, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, the Executioner, and the Goblin Queen. And here is Madeline herself. Flipping it back over, just a quick look at the accessories. She has the kind of classic energy beams you get with these characters. You got some with Wanda that were in a kind of red version. And you also got some with the Agatha Harkness figure, they're purple. Some extra fists. And Nathan, you have baby Nathan here. The one thing I am a bit bummed about is this is a bubble package. So I'm going to have to do a bit of cutting to get her out. The thing is, it's really cool packaging, but it's not in a collector-friendly bubble. So that kind of sucks. So I'm gonna have to try and cut her out of this without damaging the packaging too much. So I'm going to pause the video. And when I come back, we will have a closer look at the Goblin Queen out of her packaging. Don't go anywhere. I shall be right back. And we are back, and here is the Goblin Queen out of the packaging. So before we take a look at any of her accessories, let's have a look at the figure herself. And I gotta say, the sculpting on this is absolutely gorgeous. That face is cool. That is some really nice sculpting, and it absolutely oozes femme fatale sex appeal. It's pretty cool. I mean, take a look at the costume. If anyone was complaining about Rogue losing her arse, this more than makes up for it, I think. I just think that I don't see the purpose of covering up that the thighs are exposed. I think that's incredibly stupid. If the cartoon is bold enough to show that she's wearing kind of these thigh-high boots and a very revealing costume, the figure should follow suit. But yeah, really nice kind of detailing on it. You have the kind of pendant here that's holding on her cloak. And you have like the leather, the kind of ribbon on the leather going down. And then you have the boots. As I said before, I don't know, are they trying to pass these off as kind of black tights or something? But I don't know. I think it was silly. And going down, and just the boots there. The feet are very small, and combined with the cape, I'm dubious that she'll stand easily. I'm dubious that she'll stand at all. I'll just flip it to the back there. And again, just a solid black plastic kind of cloak. And there is kind of a kind of leathery finish on the inside to make it look more like material. But again, really nice sculpted figure. Articulation wise, try the articulation. Try the arm. There's a double joint in that arm. Good rotation here. Double joint. Hinge joint in that arm there. Her head can't go all the way around, obviously, because of the hair. But still. And leg wise, she can't do the Van Dammes exactly, but she can get her leg out a wee bit. It kind of pivots out in that direction. You can't put them up directly. They're more kind of just spread out like that. Double hinge joint in the knee, which is good. So you can put her kind of floating or flying. And waist articulation, pretty solid. Again, nicely sculpted figure. The limitations on the articulation aren't a deal breaker. They're not desperate. They're essential for the figure itself. Like, I mean, you can't really do anything about the hair or the cloak. So yeah, that makes sense. The legs though, I think maybe if you wanted, take a bevel or something there and shear off a wee bit more so she has more articulation in the legs. But I don't know. Some people might be happy with it. I'm not bothered, but it might be a drawback for some. Again, really nice sculpted figure. And as I said before, the character more than makes up for the lack of cake on Rogue in the series. Accessory wise, let's see what she comes with. So the first accessory she comes with is this baby Nathan. So this is essentially Nathan before he's sent to the future and becomes Cable. So yeah, really nice sculpting on this. Although I can tell right away, for the most part, it's recycled, because despite the color of the blanket and the face of the baby, this is essentially a repurpose of Baby Nightcrawler. So you can even tell that they used a lot of the same sculpt for it. Like the way the blanket folds and stuff, and the way it's wrapped around the kid. So it makes sense as well. Like if you have the mold and you need to make another baby, just switch out the head and change the color, and Bob's your uncle. One thing I do like though is that it's an X-Men blanket. That's a nice touch. And it's cute. Baby Nathan's cute. It's sad that he gets sent to the future and turned into this Terminator-esque cyborg. But one cool thing is you do get to see Scott and Nathan kind of repair their relationship later on in the series. And it's a nice addition. It's a cool addition. I can see someone, if they're in a pinch, they're like, oh, we lost the baby Jesus for the nativity. Someone firing this little fella in there instead. But I don't know, it's still a cool addition. The other thing she comes with are these. Essentially, they are what you got with the likes of Wanda. You also got clear versions, if I'm not mistaken, with both Emma Frost and one of the Stepford Cuckoos. And Agatha had purple versions of these. Essentially energy bolts that go around her hand just to show she's casting a spell or firing an energy kind of blast or something. I'm not the biggest fan of these, but I don't hate them. I think if they're done right and if they're filmed right, these can look either really good in figure photography or look really trashy. I think it just depends on who's filming them and what kind of camera you use and what kind of angle and light source. A lot of people forgo these and just use PNG elements to add kind of effects like that to figures. But these still have their place. They're pretty cool. And lastly, the last accessory she comes with are these two fists. And I'm kind of boggled by this because essentially she doesn't really go fisticuffs with anyone. It's just strange. But I suppose if you wanted to put her in a different pose, in a kind of Superman pose, yeah, it's an option. They're there if you want them. So yeah, that's essentially the Madelyne Pryor figure, aka the Goblin Queen. I'm going to pause the video here, and when I come back, we're going to put her against some other Marvel Legends figures. Don't go anywhere, I shall be right back. And we are back, and there is Madelyne Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen, in my alleyway. And let's put some other magic mutants next to her, specifically Magic. So that scales up right there because Magic is a teenager. And they actually complement each other really well. The black. If you're going to put together a team, maybe Magic, Goblin Queen, and Emma Frost on the same team. That'd be pretty cool. And yeah, again, scales up really well. And the skin tone is really dynamic as well. It's not like pale, it's more kind of strawberry. Almost strawberry white. And yeah, it kicks arse. Despite the fact they didn't bother colouring in her calves and stuff, it's still a cool figure. One thing I will point out is it's a bit difficult to make her stand. As I said before, I knew there was going to be an issue because her feet were so small, being on high heels as well. So I literally had to put the cape into a certain position that it's holding her up, because the cape is so heavy itself. So I used the right hand side of the cape to keep her propped up. So let's try another mutant and see how she scales up to her there. So let's put Mystique next to her. Another bad mama in the X-Men universe. And again, that works really well, and that's the animated series Mystique. If you wanted to do a diorama or a kind of scene, she'd be perfect. The kind of cartoon based figures. The VHS box figures, Jen got me them a while back as well. And they'd work really well against the X-Men'97 characters because they've got the cell shading and they look that bit more kind of animated. But yeah, guys, I really like this figure. A couple of things that knock it down a peg or two. Certainly the fact she can't stand without the aid of the cape is a bit of an issue. And again, I'm boggled by the fact that they didn't colour in the ties, because they had no problem showcasing her chest area. But yeah, when it came to showcasing her thighs, that was too far apparently. But yeah, guys, what do you think of this figure? Do you think it's cool? Do you think you pick it up? And also, what did you think of X-Men'97? What was your favourite episode? Myself, Eric, and Monty G actually done a stream discussing the X-Men'97 series. I might leave the link in the description below. But as I said before, what was your favourite episode? And were you happy with X-Men'97? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.
I don't say peace. I don't say thank you. I just do what I want. And if you want to get with me, you enter. How what I want. I don't say peace. I don't say thank you. I just do what I want. And if you want to get with me, you enter. How what I want. I don't say peace.